Hey everybody, this is Dinah Rose. Welcome to my channel. This is a quick follow-up video on Miss Destiny Payton and her response to all of those scandalous rumors that came out last week. Just basically saying that she lost custody of her son, she had lost her home, and that she was found cheating on her husband, and that was the reason for the divorce. If you guys missed all of that, then go ahead and check out my video called Pippin Hot Tea. I talked to you guys all about it, but she addressed it last night in an interview with the Ooh Ladies First panel. They had a members only last night, so if you didn't get a chance to see it, they're going to release it to the rest of YouTube today. It lasted about 2 hours. It was a lot of information, so I'm going to talk to you guys about it here. But before I do, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I appreciate all of you guys, okay? So let's get into it. Like I said, it was about 2 hours long, and it really did jump around quite a bit between LAMH, her ex-husband, and Melody, her ex-best friend. So what I want to do is make it just a little more cohesive. We're going to just start with LAMH and then end with Melody. First off, those allegations that I talked to you guys about at the top of this video, Destiny said came from a friend of LAMH. She said it was very detailed and it came from a friend. However, she said they didn't tell the full story. So she came onto the panel to discuss that. But prior to this, she was very secretive and very protective of her ex. So if you need more information, check out the Pippin Hot Tea video. So the panel start by saying, Destiny, you're really hard to read on the show. We saw you pregnant, we saw you engaged, now we see you divorced, and there seemed to be an effort to stop the viewers from knowing what's going on. They asked her about a gag order and some other things. She said that she believes that she's very transparent, and if we have a problem with how we see her on the show, to blame Carlos. As the interview went on, they asked more questions, and then she said something like she was afraid to tell her story on the show or to say more on the show because she felt it would be used against her in court. And then somewhere along the way, she said that she had received paperwork telling her not to talk on the show, and that Carlos also received the same paperwork, that he had discussed it with her before the reunion. Then she also said, and I'm not even joking, that in her divorce agreement, she did agree not to talk about him on the show. But it wasn't a gag order. It was an agreement. So I don't know if that agreement that she's referring to is also the paperwork that came to her and Carlos on the show, because she made it seem like they were independent of each other. Now, all of these answers came at different times in the interview, so I feel like at the very beginning, she was giving very vanilla, answers. I don't think she wanted to rock the boat with whatever is going on between her and LAMH. And then as the interview progressed, maybe she felt more comfortable and she was just letting things fly. But it was just really interesting to see the contrast in her answers from the start of the interview to the end of the interview. Then she was asked, how were you casted? She said that she and LAMH were at an event that was hosted by the Holtz, and she was looking super fly, and one of the producers recognized, came over, asked them, who are you? Who are you with? Who do you know? And, they chit-chatted for a minute. She said, fast forward a couple of days or whatever later, she is invited to dinner by the Holtz. She gets there. Chris is there with his wife. They're on the show. And it just so happens an executive producer was there. So they were asking them questions. And Destiny said that the executive producer was more interested in LAMH's story than in her. But, she's the fiance, so she comes with the package. Either way, they wanted him on the show. Then when he filed for divorce, he had called the show and said, I will no longer be filming. But she said that he did it because he was hoping she would be let go. He didn't want her on the show either. Now keep this in mind, how he tried to take a bag from her, okay? It's important for a couple of reasons. Number one, she was mad at Melody for thinking that she ruined a business deal for her. And then how this thing is going on with her husband and some of the things that he was doing to her to financially cripple her. So again, guys, this is just my interpretation of what I heard, because even though she said a lot, there was still a lot of things that had question marks beside it, and I'm just piecing together what I heard. So let's get into the next part, which is the breakdown of the relationship. So her relationship with her ex, lasted a total of 7 years, and that includes the period of time it took for them to finalize their divorce. First year, her and LeBerick are together all the time. She didn't say that they lived together, but she did say they were together all the time. Second year, Destiny moves to Tennessee, I believe Nashville, so they're in a long distance relationship. They see each other once a week. Third year, LeBerick pops the question and Destiny says yes. Now this is important because she says it was around this time that she had decided to see a fertility specialist because she had had 5 miscarriages before giving birth to Law. So 5 miscarriages. She didn't say that those miscarriages were with LeBerick, but she did say that she knew she had some problems. And she said that they were in premarital counseling and that they were taking breaks. So they were dating other people in the middle of this engagement, in the middle of this premarital counseling, in the middle of these fertility visits. So no one asked, what did taking a break look like for you guys? She just jumps right into year 5. They're married, okay? So they're married, and she says that she is trying to figure out whether or not she should quit her job in Tennessee and move to Huntsville because she is still going to the fertility doctor. She got these benefits she wants to keep in case, she needs them, I guess. But she ends up getting pregnant naturally. And she said that she heard God's voice tell her, this one's going to stay. This one is strong. Now, I do want to point out that she said that she was married for 2 years, but for 9 months of those 2 years, she was in the middle of a divorce. But once she realizes that she's pregnant, she is off. She's moved to Huntsville and they are living together. And I believe this is when we saw them on the show. But things aren't going too good. She's like, they're arguing all the time. And when they argue, she is, hiding away in a room trying to, get away from the stress and everything. Because she said, I was afraid that I was going to miscarry. That is what she's used to her body doing. So she's trying to avoid anything stressful. She even said that things had gotten so bad for her that she considered filing for divorce, but she didn't because she doesn't believe in divorce. So we know that Destiny grew up in foster care. She lost her brother, she lost her mom. So maybe that's why she wanted to hold on to the family unit so much. But things just sound awful. She has a highly confrontational family life at home with her husband. It sounds like it also might happen with her in-laws. And then she said that she didn't have a village, right? So it's all these things are happening. And then on top of that, we are in the middle of COVID. So she's kind of pigeonholed in the house. Anyway, fast forward, Destiny gives birth. She gives birth. She goes home. The 3 of them are in the home. And she said that she wasn't getting any help from LeBerick. She was like, I am breastfeeding. I am extremely fatigued. I couldn't get him to make me a salad. She said that she couldn't get him to watch the baby while she took a shower. So she couldn't even give herself 5 minutes of self-care, 10 minutes of self-care. She said LeBerick was going through his regular routine. So then the panel asked, why was he being so vindictive? And she wouldn't answer the question. She said, I don't want to bash him. This isn't what I'm here for. I don't want to bash him. And I was like, girl, you are bashing him without bashing him. It's like, just go ahead and say it, because if I have to guess, which I'm going to, it still doesn't look good for either one of y'all. But then she says she is at home. She goes outside with the baby to give him some vitamin D in the sunlight. She's in her driveway, I'm assuming in the car holding the baby. And a process server pulls up, hands her divorce papers. And she said that she was, sitting there like in disbelief. And then she goes into the house and she doesn't say anything. So she's like, I couldn't even say anything to him when I got in the house. And I'm like, well, girl, he knew you got served. He told them where you would be on this day at this time. He was probably looking out the window. So what do you mean you didn't tell him? And for me, that could only mean 2 things. Either you did something that has you feeling so guilty that you believe that you deserve what this man is giving you, or LeBerick is a monster. Now, you don't want us to bash him, so what is it that happened? So then she ends up saying something like, she didn't think he was a good provider, he wasn't a good protector, and he didn't know how to leave and cleave. And so everybody was like, oh. And then she said that he expected her to pay half the bills. Now she said that everything had kind of went upside down for her business-wise. She quit her job. She moved to Huntsville. The pandemic happened. She has to close Mandani. I think she said 3 weeks after the pandemic, so she's not making any income there. And when she asked him for anything, he tells her, I provide for you by giving you a roof over your head. So you have this new baby. He's not giving you any money. According to you, she said that he was still doing very well with his businesses. Didn't miss a step. So he's not giving you anything to take care of yourself. He's not helping you with the baby. And this is his first child, his only son. And he served you with divorce papers 3 weeks after you give birth. That can only mean one thing. He doesn't think the baby is his. So then they asked if there was infidelity, and she said no, there was no infidelity, at least on my part. So she starts there. And then she says that she is just as responsible for the demise of the relationship as anything that he did, because she emasculated him. She said she started moving like she was single. And they asked her to elaborate. And she was like, well, I wasn't getting what he gave me in the beginning. So I guess she was like, I was used to getting certain gifts and maybe money from him. And he decided he wasn't giving her anything. But she didn't explain why. She just said, they tell you that if you don't do what you did in the beginning, then that's how you lose them. So when I heard her say that, I again thought, you were cheating, because you were only married for a year and some change. You guys were only living together for a year and some change before he filed for divorce. So you're saying, oh, he wasn't giving me what he gave me in the beginning, so that's how you lose me. Child, if you guys are in your first year of marriage, you are literally defining your beginning. So that's number one. Number two, when you guys didn't get what you wanted from each other in your engagement, you took breaks. You took breaks and you dated other people. And I think you just transitioned that into your actual marriage. You were still taking a break when you weren't getting what you wanted from LeBaric. So moving on, after LeBaric files, he wants to reconcile, and she is like open to that. However, Destiny never responded to the first divorce filing. It's in the courts. She didn't respond. She didn't ask him if he withdrew it. She doesn't know what's going on. So she was like, well, I don't believe in divorce. I never got a lawyer. All crazy stuff. In the meantime, LeBaric is making amendments to his paperwork. He went from saying he wanted joint custody, which is what she saw on the first set of papers, to asking for full custody. And then when everything blew up in her face again, he was off. He actually was granted a divorce because she never responded. When she decided to go down to the court and see what was going on, and talk to someone about it, they actually gasped in her face. They were like, oh, that's what she said. And then she said, told her he's already divorced and he has full custody. So Destiny had to file an emergency order to say she never responded and she wanted to, go through the court system to fight the case, which she ended up doing. And she ended up, reversing a lot of things. She was able to live in the house for 1 year. I guess he had to pay the mortgage on the house. She took care of all the other bills. And then she also received primary custody of her son. And he gets visitation of every Thursday and every other week. He does Thursday through Sunday. Now, she said that she was denied child support in the, full custody filing, but I don't know if that was the case when she took it back through, and she did not mention it. She also didn't mention whether or not she received alimony, but we do know that she was so bad off financially that she did request public assistance. And in the interview, she did say, I was not referring to a loan. I was referring to actual public assistance. Again, not specifying what it was, but it was just weird that it just went there at all. Another thing she said was that she did She did have a year to take control of the house, to put the house in her name. However, LeBerick did something else in court where she tried to stop her from doing that. And she is now back in court again. She is going to court again to fight this. So her and LeBerick have a really bad relationship. I don't care if they're co-parenting. Their relationship is just as bad as Melody and Martell's, maybe worse, because Melody left, saying, I don't even want to lean on you for anything. I will do what I need to do for myself and my children on my own. Destiny is still relying on him for some sort of support, and he is like hell-bent on not giving it to her. So you guys let me know what y'all think happened between LeBerick and Destiny, okay? And now I'm going to talk to you about Melody and Destiny. So guys, the first time we had actually heard that something really serious happened between Destiny and her ex was via Melody. She was talking about Destiny on a YouTube channel, and she said the first time she had actually heard of Destiny was 5 years ago. That prior to that, she had never heard her name mentioned. She hadn't gone to their wedding. And Destiny was saying that her and Martell had been friends for 20 years, right? Destiny actually gave a breakdown of that relationship on the interview. She said that Martell and her went to two different high schools. She was she was a cheerleader. He was a football player, and they ended up meeting each other at a game, and that they were part of a popular crowd. Then she said that both of them had cousins that married each other, and that Miss Marlene, Martell's mom, dated a member of her family. So she gave us a little more history. But still, Melody said she didn't know her, and that she did know of LeBerick. Then she said, when she found out what LeBerick was doing to Destiny, she had blocked him on all social media, and she deleted him or blocked him on her phone. Then the panel asked Destiny if she thought that her ex-husband and Martell shared certain characteristics or, certain personality. And she said, well, yeah, they have certain things in common. And she's like, they're both mama's boys. They're both this, they're both that. And I think it took her a minute to, for it to click that they were asking if she thought they were both abusive to women in the same manner. And she was like, I understand what you're saying, but he never did those things to me. The things he did to Melody, he didn't do to me, so I can't judge him on that. And that was a light bulb moment for me. If Destiny is being truthful in the stories that she is telling people about her ex-husband, where she's rallying all the support from the Scotts, where she has Miss Wanda on her live saying, oh my God, what happened to her is so sad. If she has Melody PayPaling her money and she doesn't understand that they're doing it because they empathize with her and they see a problem in that man's character, the same way she should see a problem in Martell's character. If she's not able to see that, there's something wrong with her. Seriously, you guys let me know what y'all think. Also, the panel did not ask if her husband was still friends with Martell, being that those two seem to be at odds. I wish they would have asked that question, because that would have also helped me understand why she is clinging to Martell's friendship the way she is, because that just felt really odd. Then the panel asked her if she was able to see Melody's point when she was like, you could have defended me when Tisha said I wasn't a good friend. And again, she said, well, that question wasn't directed to me. I wasn't able to answer that because Melody and I hadn't talked, even though they had been texting. She said that she was used to a different type of engagement with Melody, so I guess it left a question mark for her. However, a couple of minutes into that, line of questioning, she says, Melody was a good friend to me, which was what Melody asked you to say on the stage. But she immediately follows it up with, but she told everyone about the PayPal. So now I have to question, why would you have told everyone if you were being a true friend to me? And I was like, but Destiny, did you not just call her a master manipulator? And she told you that that was something her husband called her when they would fight? Then she was asked, what were you and Tisha talking about when Mel overheard you? And she said she didn't know. She said that she and Tisha just said something like they wish Martell would have answered the question. But it was really, really vague. And she said at the end of the day, she changed rooms 3 times and she does not believe that Melody was next door. So she thinks that Mel, hunted her down, put her ear to the door, and then, told her, here's my new phone number, and walked off. Now, she said that Melody has unfollowed her on social media. She said that she attempted to support Melody by buying some products of hers. And she said that Melody refunded her money. So she was like, the girls asked if she thought that they could be friends again. She said no. At the end of it, I really do feel there was a strong dislike for Melody. She believes that she's a vindictive person. She believes that she, pulled this business project from her, and that it affected her business and her livelihood. She's not given the same energy to LeBaric though. And so that's why I said, pay attention to this, because the leniency she gives LeBaric versus the leniency and grace she gave LeBaric versus what she's doing with Melody is really off. It is on 2 different levels. And Melody actually tried to help her at one point. But, it is what it is. I think there's more to the story on both sides. There's more to the story about LeBaric and there's more to the story about Melody. But, they're not saying that part. She said that her and Tisha do not talk about Melody, that their friendship bond comes from being on the same show and from sharing the same nanny. Tisha has allowed her to share her nanny. And what else did she say? She said she loves the Scotts, that the Scotts are great. So again, with everything that Melody had shared about her experience, her husband having an affair, the Scotts, knowing about it and keeping it from her, those things didn't matter in the loyalty aspect anyway. So you guys let me know what y'all think. Please like this video, subscribe, share it, talk to me in the comments. This was a very long video, and I will see you guys on the next one.